Hola guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to do my good friend Olive's original book tag, which is the Nonfiction Booktube Tag, in celebration of Nonfiction November, which is currently going on and I am currently participating in. So let's dive right in. Number one, how much nonfiction do you read? Definitely not enough. I don't know that I have a number though. Like, I guess let's look at what I have read recently besides Nonfiction November. Like, aside from that, what have I read recently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. 9 in this year, with the exception of the ones that I'm reading for Nonfiction November, which, given that I've read 93 things this year, is very, very poor. So definitely not as much as I would like to, and I'll get to and I'll talk a little bit later about where she asks like about kind of your goals or where you want to be. But yeah, definitely not as much as I would like to be reading. Number 2, what kind of nonfiction videos do you make or do you want to make on BookTube? So I don't really make dedicated nonfiction books. I think I made one last year which referred to like books that have taught me things or that helped me cope, and I would like to make more of those. That was mostly nonfiction picks. But really, I focus mostly on nonfiction when Nonfiction November comes around, and I would like to change that. I would like to make more content because I love nonfiction when I read it, so I should really just read more of it and get other people to like it as much as I do. Number 3, what is your favorite subgenre of nonfiction? Probably memoirs, followed by true crime and history, kind of tied for second place. But definitely memoirs, and then I guess within that, Latinx memoirs are my favorite. Number 4, do you have a favorite nonfiction book? Yes, and this will come to no surprise to anybody who's watched my channel for any length of time, and that is When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago, which is number 1 in her 3-part memoir series, and I love it. It's a Latinx memoir. She's Puerto Rican. It's about her childhood, and it just made me feel so closely tied to the island and to my mother's life when she was a young girl that I love it. It's one of my favorites of all time. Number 5, what do you think keeps people from wanting to read more nonfiction? I think maybe a lack of knowledge of the scope of nonfiction and just the breadth of the subgenres that you can find. I think a sort of bad taste in your mouth left from maybe what you had to read in school, and then just maybe the thought that all nonfiction is either boring or too technical, and not engaging in the way that fiction can be. And I think that's unfortunately misguided, because there's so many amazing nonfiction books out there that I really think there's something for everybody. Number 6, why do you like nonfiction? Because of how much you can learn, of how personal it can be. There is something about it that just feels like you can really connect on a deeper level than maybe in some fiction or in a lot of fiction, because you know that it comes from the actual life experiences of somebody or of many bodies, if it's like, say, a history book or something like that, because you know maybe the research that went behind it or the struggles that went behind it, the happiness, just how personal it can be and how much it can teach you. What's up, buddy? No, you're not going outside. And that's really just why I love it so much. What is the best nonfiction book you've read lately? And that's number... Oh, no, sorry. Number 7, what's a nonfiction book you read because of booktube? So this is a nonfiction book that I read specifically because of Olive, and that is H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. And this is a memoir about Helen MacDonald's tragic sudden loss of her father, how she manages to cope with that, and how that leads, buddy, you're not going outside, and how that leads to her training a goshawk. And I really just loved all of the parts about Helen MacDonald herself and her experiences with the goshawk, and her telling us about her relationship with her family and her father. Those were really my favorite parts, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite nonfiction books ever. I am really glad that I read it. Number 8, what is the best nonfiction book you've read lately? So I'm actually going to skip that one because it is a book that I have recently read for Nonfiction November. So I'm going to pause on that, and you'll hear about it in whenever I do my wrap-up / vlog for Nonfiction November. Number 9, what are some of your nonfiction reading goals? So basically just to read more of it. I would like to maybe average about 2 per month, which is definitely doable, and I'm sure would be incredibly enjoyable. So I think that's going to be my goal for next year, is to do an average of 2 per month for nonfiction. Number 10, what's your advice for incorporating more nonfiction into your reading diet? I think find something that you're really passionate about, which I think is very similar to what Olive said. Think about what you'd like to learn more about, or something that you are very passionate about, and I'm sure you can find nonfiction books about it that will make you learn even more passionate about it. Anything from a career to a certain history of a people's or a country, you know, a memoir of someone that you really enjoy, like a celebrity or something like that. I think these are ways that by finding something that really interests you, maybe aside from reading, just in your non-reading life, incorporating that into reading nonfiction might open a lot of avenues for you to be able to find books that you really enjoy, and kind of hook you into reading nonfiction and show you how fun it is and how great it can be. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. Thank you to Olive for creating not only this tag, but Nonfiction November and the initiative that it is. And yeah, let me know what some of your favorite nonfiction books are, or if you don't really like nonfiction, maybe some books that you're thinking about trying out to see if you like it. I love you guys very much.